Alright, I shut all the fans off. Hopefully the AC won't kick on and the audio will be a bit better. I apologize for that. It's got to be annoying. Um, and, I said it's 75. You can see it on my screen here. That's outside. Inside the garage, it's 82 degrees and the humidity is 73%. So if you start, if you start seeing beads of sweat coming off my forehead, you'll know why. All right, so for this, what we're gonna do is when you submit a form, you've I'm sure submitted many. Some websites will disable the submit button. Maybe change the message on the submit button. To processing request or whatever. Other websites do. They black out the whole or block off the whole screen with a mask. So I'm going to go the mask route, and I'm going to separate this into two different things. I'm going to call the thing that blocks out the background, I'm going to call that a Viewport Mask .razor, and man, everybody needs a cup of coffee this morning. So we're going to go with a div. Let's give it an ID of Viewport Mask. And we'll give it some code. And some CSS. F2 bfc.css. Viewport Mask. Position can be fixed. And then this is inset. I got this from Kevin Powell. If I remember, I'll put a link to his at least to his channel in the description. But this is basically the same thing as saying top 0, left 0, right 0, bottom 0. Is that all I need for this? I'm not sure, folks. I suck at CSS. Let's give it a background color too, so that we know it's. I probably should get a Z index too. We'll give it a big one. 100. Let's just see if that shows up. We'll throw it on our BF form page because that's where we're going to use it. No, we're not using it. Here's where we're going to use it. I guess we can put it outside the form. It doesn't really matter. Import mask. Alright. Let's see if that does. Oh no, you know what? I need to go in here. Eventually I'm going to go ahead and take, you can put CSS directly on this. You can put viewport mask.razor.css, but the problem with that with development is it's compiled and it slows down the process. When you have it on the outside like that, it's you have to do a hard reload, empty cache hard reload, and that's it. So let's throw this in, link href equals, and that is content. What is it? Bootstrap form components /bfc.css. Alright, let's see if that does anything for us. Oh, I've got 5 subscribers. Hey guys, how you doing? What parts of the world are you from? Let's go to this. I gotta get rid of that. I gotta get rid of that lorem ipsum. It's kind of annoying. And there's some other things I'm gonna want to do with this CSS wise. Where am I here? Viewport Mask. For now, we'll just put a div with an H1. Hello, Dolly.
Hello, Dolly. This is lunch, Dolly.
Let's come back over and let's hit. It's supposed to be on save, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now we get the hello, Dolly.
Hello, Dolly. This is lunch, Dolly.
But it's not. Now I could swear that I got it from Kevin Powell, that inset thing. I could swear he used it with just one number. You know how like, I'm trying to think. I suck at CSS. We don't need that open anymore. We'll try it with inset 0, 0, 0, 0. Could have sworn I saw him using it with just one. You know, like how margin, you know, there's a shortcut, you know, 0, 0, 0, 0 is top, right, bottom, left. But anyway, let's see if that does anything. Control Shift R. It was there for a second, wasn't it? No? Alright, get ready for some bad cuts, folks. Alright, the problem is that it's not coming down because I'm an idiot. Part 1,000,001 relationship style sheet. And close that off. Close that off. Let's see how that does. Alright, so now we got our mask. It doesn't say hello Dolly on it anywhere though. Why not? Well, because it's white. Alright, well, we'll work on that. What I'm going to do on this is I'm going to give, I'm going to stop. This one thing that kind of, you know, as I've said in previous videos, the squiggly lines annoy me, even if they're the green ones, because sometimes those green ones are like, you know, if you forget to use an await operator or something, I mean, that can be a major problem in production, you know, if you got a lot of traffic. But anyway, I don't do some editing because when it's still running, because it gives me the red squiggly lines, and I'm like, oh shucks, what did I do wrong? And then I look and it says this must be compiled before it can be rerun, or whatever it says. Prop string, we'll call it background color, I guess. I mean, that's what it is. And we'll give it a default of RGB A 255, 255, 255, and 0.8. And then we'll come up to this and style, background color, and we'll say at background color, semicolon, in case we want to put something else in there, optional, the color, the background color, optional, any valid CSS color, background color of the viewport mask. Default is that. And we'll come back to this and we'll get rid of that. And also I'm going to want to give this, we'll use some Bootstrap stuff here. Goes D flex, that gives you the flex, align items, center, justify content center. That should center the content. We should be able to see that. Hello, Dolly. Now.
Hello, Dolly. This is lunch.
Well, let's just give it a style. Color. Black. Let's see what happens here. And I broke it. Alright, get ready for another bad edit, folks. Let's do a Control-Shift-R first, make sure. Alright, I didn't break it. Okay. So that's that, as far as what it's going to look like. But what we need to do is we need to give it a show and hide. And we're doing this because we're going to have a processing. I'm separating out, you know, the background mask or the viewport mask from, you know, a box that comes up and says processing request or whatever, because we might want to use this for something else down the road. So we're going to say public void show. I could say toggle, right? But this isn't really a toggle thing. And we'll say yeah, one thing that's really got me screwed up is you know, I pretty much follow all the coding conventions, you know, as far as, you know, whether you capitalize it and so on and so forth. But with Blazor, it's kind of like Razor's the front end, and I want to use JavaScript kind of notation, or you know, the, what do they call it, camel case. Partly because of that, also because it's just it's an extra click, you know, an extra keyboard stroke to capitalize the letters. And I kind of like to have the public stuff out front, and then so that, you know, if somebody looks at the code, they can see what's public. But we'll do a bool visible, and that will default to false. And then up here we'll wrap this X into an if statement at if visible. We may need to call a status change on this. We'll see. KD. Okay, so we'll go visible equals false, equals true rather, equals true, and we'll do a hide, void hide, visible equals false, and then we'll throw it on our form for now. I guess we'll just put a couple extra buttons here. Well, we'll put a show because we're not going to be able to get to the hide, but button. We're going to need a reference to this too. This will all be hidden behind the form. So we'll need well, just put something temporary here because this is okay. So void show mask. And we'll need a reference to it, which is definitely going to need to be here. Put that down here. What is it called? Viewport. Viewport Mask Viewport Mask. We'll give that a reference so we have access to its methods. At ref equals viewport mask, show mask, viewport mask, show. Alright, so let's see if that works. Might help if I put the button in there too, right? See if hot reload worked on its own. Survey says yes. Nothing's happening though. Alright, well, you saw what I did. I was doing it silently. I forgot to stop recording, so we'll just leave it like that. And this should really have, if it's going to get used elsewhere, it should have the option, you know how you can click outside, like if you use it for a modal, you can click outside the modal, and it'll dismiss the modal in the background mask. But for this purpose, we don't want them to be able to do that. We want, them to be blocked from hitting the submit button again. So in this case, we don't need it. If we need it for something in the future, we'll add that functionality. All right, let's do a little code cleanup here. We'll throw a status change on this. Well, not get hash code. State has changed. What? State has changed. Why is get hash code coming up? State has changed. IntelliSense, gotta love it. State has changed. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I had a console log somewhere. We don't need this. We don't need this. And the last thing we need for this, I believe, is a child content. So we'll say parameter. I wonder if editor required comes on if you have a child content tag. We'll find out. Editor required, parameter, prop, tab, render fragment. We'll call that child content, and we'll leave the hello dolly in there.
Hello, Dolly. This is lunch, Dolly.
In there for now, but we'll throw on child content. And that should be that for this, I believe, and we're set to move forward to our, the pop-up with the spinner, processing request, or submitting form, or whatever. No bad joke this time. Sorry for the terrible editing. As you can tell, I prefer writing code, and I'm not too interested in becoming the next CGI guy. Talk to you in the next one.